Hey guys, this is Chris from Almost Legit Garage. So upon request, I'm going to put some new U-joints in the Avalanche here. So it's a pretty simple process, but basically you want to start by raising the truck and putting it on jack stands, at least on the back axles. It helps if you have the truck kind of leaning forward, but make sure you have it in four-wheel drive so the parking gear will engage the front wheels. Ugh. And it probably doesn't hurt to chalk it either. Also, good to do this on a drippy, wet day. So it just makes this so much more lovely. So you're going to want to mark your drive shaft and mark your yoke, so you know which way they go back together. And you can kind of see, yeah, a little play in the joint there, and that's why we're changing this out. Okay, and there's 4 11mm bolts around here, and if you have the drive shaft positioned sideways like this, you can pretty much get to all of them without having to rotate anything. Okay, so then you should be able to pop the back out and then slide the drive shaft towards the rear, and it'll fall out of that slip joint. That's hard to see because it's dark out. But it just slips into the tail shaft of the transmission. Hopefully you guys can see that. I like having it at an angle because if you have it with the front higher than the back, it can leak diff fluid or transfer case fluid or transmission fluid, and you don't want that. Okay, with that out of the truck, you can gently clamp it in the vise. You don't want to dent the tubing. And you can see there's the cap, and then there's the snap ring. These have been changed before, so it's going to have a snap ring. If they were original, they are going to be encased in plastic, and you will heat this up with a torch until a white worm comes out of it. About the best way to describe it. If they've been changed before, you can just pop the snap ring out. And then same thing on the other side. You kind of got to find the end. Yep. And then you should be able to snap that out with a screwdriver. Safety glass is probably a good idea too. Okay, now there's many ways to change out a U-joint. Today I'm going to be using the ball joint press. This is also called a U-joint press when it's sold by itself. But basically it just makes this a heck of a lot easier. As you can see, you tighten it down and it'll push it through just like that. And once it falls out, you can back it off. And then you have one cap out, and if you get lucky, I guess you can on these. So you're going to press it one way, and then you flip it over and press it back through the other way, and you will be good to go. Don't really have to use a whole lot of force, but yeah, should. That one went super easy. Slip it through, pull the cap off, and that'll go out just like that. Now pay attention. If you can kind of see down in there, there's little needle bearings, and if you lose those when you're installing the new one, you'll have a bad day. Okay, so then you're going to clean inside the bore of the yoke there, and take the 2 new caps off the new U-joint. Now you're going to try not to disturb the other 2 while you do this, but then you can slip this in, trying to not get any dirt in that grease there. Okay, and then you can hopefully press these in from both sides at the same time if you have the right setup. So we got that one started. You know. Try to get that one started just like that, and we should be able to clamp it and force it together. Okay, and I'm just using a little cup on this side to make it flat, and then you just slowly tighten. Yeah, make sure the everything fall apart. All right, just a second. Okay, now I got one side that's going in fine, the other one kind of got itself wedged. So we're going to go to the bench vise and see if we can get a little bit better result here. It's really hard to do this and film at the same time, but hopefully we can get it straightened out. There we go. Then once it got straight, it wasn't really that big of a deal. Alright. Now we got snapper and groove right there, and we don't have one on the other side yet. So we're going to take our new snap rings, pop one in this side, got that popped in right there. Then we're going to go back down to the floor, and now we can use press again to get that groove exposed. Just like that. Now none of this should really take a whole lot of effort to do. Try to set that up there. And then you put your snap ring in the other side. Although that one didn't seat quite all the way. So just give it a little more with the press, and it should seat no problem. And it's hard to see that, but it just set itself down. So now we're good. All right. So then on this side, you are done. I'm not doing the front one because it's still good, but we're just going to throw our snap rings there, and the back will be done. Now for the front, very similar process, except for you just have to do
kind of all the sides at once. So generally you'll mark the yoke where it goes into the transmission in relation to the drive shaft, and then you'll be able to press that out just like we did that rear one. Then once you're done with that, you'll press the other side or the other one out, and then you'll press it back into one of the yokes first and then the other, and basically you just do the same thing we did in the back, only twice. But it's important to mark these because they're all balanced together. I have had a bad habit of forgetting to mark stuff when I do this, but pretty much you'll get a vibration. If you get a vibration, then rotate the drive shaft. This one's just particularly hard because you have to press everything back off and back on to change the orientation of it. Okay, now reinstallation. Just two things to note. The drive shaft is keyed slightly, so there'll be a flat tooth in the output of the transfer case or transmission, and you'll want to wipe this off before you reinstall it because you don't want any gravel or anything going into your transfer case. Oh, got that one first go. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, then back on this other side, you're just gonna wanna line this back up with your marks, and you might have to turn the wheels a little bit to get it to go. Yeah. And the snap rings go obviously inside, and then you'll just bolt this back down. Make sure they're tight, because if they're not, you can have a cap fly off, and that'll really throw things out of balance. Now, a small note, why would you want to do U-joints? Well, simply you'll pretty much always get a clunk when you put the vehicle in gear, and that's just slop in the drivetrain. Once it gets too bad, it can shear off, and you'll either drop a drive shaft or get a terrible vibration, or even if it's a front one, you can actually wad up the drive shaft into the floorboards and total out a vehicle. So you don't want to let this go too long, but if you're getting a little bit of a clunk when you put it into gear, this should take care of it. Alright, so then after this, it's just tighten it down and set the truck back down and take it for a test drive. You guys don't need to see that, but thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more Avalanche content, and also check out the GTI build that's going on this channel. Thanks you guys for watching. See you again later.